What's up, guys? This is Tom. If you're selling on Amazon, you're probably wasting time doing a lot of things that won't actually move the needle. Today, we're going to be ranking every single growth lever on Amazon from best to worst, anything from sponsored products to Amazon Vine to main image optimizations. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear picture on what's actually going to drive you sales. And with that being said, we're going to dive right into it. For those of you who don't know, this is Tier Maker. What this essentially does is it categorizes things within tiers. So instead of ranking things 1 through 20, 1 being the best, 20 being the worst, we actually just bucket them into tiers. So that way you're not really ranking, I guess the 5 best ice cream flavors. You're just putting all of the best ice cream flavors in a specific tier. So it's a good way to, and a fun exercise to sort of rank things without necessarily saying 1, 2, 3 are the best, and these are the worst. So we're gonna dive right into it. You'll get the hang of it. I don't know why. Full warning. I don't know why people put S above A tier now. S is sort of what I guess the internet young people do, but S is the best. D is obviously the worst. And so we're going to get through all of this. This is our list at the bottom. We're going to go through each of these topics. I'm going to try not to make this video super long. For those of you who don't know, I spent 6 years at Amazon on the growth team, managing some of the largest CPG brands in the world. Now I just consult on my own. And so we're going to get into it with deals, lightning deals, best deals. So this is, the important thing to note is we're creating a tier list for people that are just starting to sell on Amazon. So if you're just starting to sell on Amazon, you may be wondering, should I just be, enrolling my product in deals to get velocity, awareness for my product? The thing about that is you won't be eligible for deals because as a new product, typically you will not be eligible to run any sort of specific Amazon lightning deals or best deals. That usually comes with a sales velocity requirement as well as a seller rating. You must have sort of a minimum threshold of sales and then a minimum rating from a seller standpoint in terms of reviews. They're not very clear on what that benchmark is. And so as a seller, you just see this pop up in your Seller Central eventually. As a new brand, it's not something you should be worrying about because you just won't be eligible for it. So with that being said, we're going to rank that in D because it's just not going to be available for you. So yeah, let's keep it moving. Category node, browse node. Ooh, this is tough. So, fair warning, I haven't done this before, so we're doing this on the fly. So I'm not really, I'm going to be working through my my thoughts with you guys. So category browse node. This is essentially talking about which category your product is going to be labeled in. So if you're a soap, you'll be in bath soaps, or if you're toilet paper, you'll be in toilet paper. But there's specific nodes, and you can get really niche with the product that or the category that your product is listed in. And the reason why this is important is because it ultimately helps Amazon determine where your product should show up on Amazon, and then which keywords your product should show up for. As an example, if you're a soap, but you for some reason labeled yourself in shampoo, you may not be showing up when someone searches bath soap. So this is important. I don't know if it's, game changing S tier, which is non-negotiable. So I'm going to put this in A, and we can revise this. We'll revise this at the end. Amazon posts. This is a program that Amazon launched a few years ago where brands can sort of post about anything related to their brand. Think of it as a social media feed for anything related to your brand. You can post images, text. I'm going to put this in D, and the reason why is they actually just announced that they're deprecating this program. And so it's just not going to be useful for you as a new brand launch. It's one less thing you have to worry about. Even when it was live, none of my brands that I work with or have ever worked with ever saw success with it. And so it didn't really get a lot of love and a lot of visibility within Amazon's platform. Amazon Business, again, this is where you can sell B2B. So think of office supplies and selling to business owners, or again, you want to have bulk deal pricing on 12 pack of shampoo. It's a nice thing to have, especially for certain product categories. Again, we're talking about a new brand. This is going to be really hard because we're trying to develop a tier list for all brands, right? And so it's going to be specific to niches, but in general, this should not be that important. It's not something that's heavily leveraged for new brands, and also even for mature brands. It's not a large percentage of your sales. For now, we're going to put this in C. Amazon DSP. Now, this one's a little bit tricky. This is Amazon's programmatic demand side platform where brands can essentially access a suite of ad products that are not within the ads console in Seller Central. Think of, if you want your ads to show on Twitch or Prime Video or audio ads that Amazon has, it's sort of a whole suite of ad products that are not generally used by new brands or smaller brands. And it's more upper funnel awareness consideration. This is potentially useful for larger brands that are thinking about selling on Amazon. But for the vast majority, it's not going to be super relevant, just because in the beginning, you want to focus on driving sales as profitably as you can, not necessarily driving more awareness and consideration for your product. So we're going to put this in C for now. I may move this later. We'll see. Amazon Vine. So Amazon Vine is a program that you can enroll in to essentially capture reviews from a subset of people that signed up to be Vine reviewers. There's a fee involved with it. My opinion of Vine, after years of using it, is a lot of the reviewers can be very fickle and very harsh depending on your product. But if you feel pretty confident in it, it's the best way to get a lot of reviews quickly at launch. If you feel really confident in your product, it's an awesome resource to get reviews very quickly. A lot of people use it. I like it. I would say it does more good than harm. And so I'm going to put this in A for now. Product video. Ooh, this one's going to be tricky. Product video is, again, a video of your product. It's a showcasing visual of what your product looks like in action. Definitely helpful for a lot of brands and products. I think I'm going to put this in A for now, just because as a new brand, sometimes it's really hard to get videos made. And so, when you think about the non-negotiables, S tier, that's a non-negotiable. A is pretty much you want to have it, or, nice to have, I would say. Let's put it in B for now, just because I think the difficulty of obtaining a video, it's not really that easy. Sponsored brands video. Now, this is actually kind of related to product video. These are the ads that you run with your videos. Usually they're product specific, and they tend to perform really well. So across all of the brands we work with, it generally is one of the best performing ad products. At launch, though, it's a nice to have, and usually not common to have at launch, just because of just you're constrained with resources. It's hard to determine what to launch with, and it's just really hard to launch with. I could change this though. So main image, this is, your main image on Amazon. The first thing people see. I can't stress how important this is. This is everything. If you don't have a strong main image, you're not going to get people to click on your product. So make sure your main image really displays something clickable. So use color, use your packaging, use the placement of the image where your product takes over much of the white space on the background. Think of when you're shopping on Amazon, the first thing you do is you're looking at the image and probably the reviews and price. And so main image is a non-negotiable. You must have a great main image. Premium A+ content. This is So this is different than A+ content, because premium A+ content gives you access to different modules. A+ content is the stuff that lives on your detail page when you scroll down. Really, really important. I would say premium A+ content, things like video and different placements, I would say it's a nice to have, not imperative, but A+ content is one of the few things you can do to improve your conversion rate. So when someone lands on your page, You could shift around the content that's being displayed on there. It's important. It's not non-negotiable like S tier, but it's important. Amazon attribution. Okay. I get this question asked a lot. So a lot of brands ask, should we be driving Meta ads, YouTube ads, Google ads to our Amazon listing? And the answer is it depends, really. But as a new brand, generally at launch, it's really hard to find the budget, right? Because you're trying to spend on Amazon ads. Amazon attribution, I would say, very difficult to track the performance of what it does to your Amazon listings. And what I mean by that is Amazon attribution allows you to track the ROAS, or the return on ad spend, if you're driving, for example, traffic from Meta. But oftentimes you don't really know what the impact of that is on your Amazon listing from an organic ranking standpoint. It's not really clear. A lot of people believe that it does help with ranking, but there hasn't been any clear definitive data or studies out. So I would say from a prioritization standpoint, especially for most brands, it's not really feasible from a budget standpoint. And you'd probably rather dedicate more of that budget to sponsored products. I'm going to put this in C for now. Amazon Live. So this is Amazon's essentially streaming service where they allow brands to just go live, right? And they have a dedicated page within the homepage. Well, it's in the drop down of the homepage. It's hard to find, where creators and brands can essentially go live. People can watch. It's not really frequented much. No brands that launch on Amazon use it. There's not a lot of traffic. You don't generate a lot of sales, and it's quite intensive, as you can imagine, as a founder. How are you going to create the content? Who's creating the content? If it's not yielding sales, why would you do it? So it's not very common. No one really uses it. So I'm going to put this in D for now. Brand story module. I think this might have to go in A. Brand story module. So this is this lives within the A+ content. On top of it, it's sort of a carousel where you can scroll and learn more about the brand. I think this is pretty important, right? With the sea of brands on Amazon, it's really hard to figure out what you want to buy and why you want to buy it. Having a good brand story and being able to illustrate what your brand is about, what your product is about, is really important, especially as a new brand. When you don't have as many reviews as competitors, you need to have a story to tell to get people to buy your product. So I'm going to put this for now under A, but it could go under B. Sponsored products. Oh, this is the big one. Sponsored products. This is S tier, non-negotiable at launch. You must be invested and really heavily involved in this part of the launch, which is Amazon's most popular ad products, sponsored products. It's going to deliver generally the highest return for you. It is the most cost effective. It's the easiest to set up, and it's really critical to use to drive initial sales velocity on Amazon, to get yourself in front of the most people at the most effective rates. And so I don't know of a single brand that launches on Amazon that doesn't use sponsored products. So non-negotiable, you must have this in S tier, no doubt about it. SEO, search engine optimization. So this is bullet points, your keyword, your title. This is pretty clearly an S tier. Wow, we have all even. S tier product. The reason why is Amazon has no way of understanding how you as a new brand or new product is relevant to any shopper that's searching for a specific product or keyword outside of what is in your detail page, what's on the back end keyword list, and what's in your title. So it's really important that all of these things, all of these words and keywords that you're including in your bullet points, title, and your back end keywords match what customers are actually searching for. Otherwise, as a new brand, how is Amazon supposed to know what to surface your product for? So I can't stress enough how important this is. Do your research. Which keywords are the most important? Which keywords are the most searched for? Non-negotiable. This needs to be in your launch strategy. Subscribe and save, obviously pretty nice, right? To have, especially as a consumable product, beauty, CPG, grocery, beverage, things that are recurring purchases, not applicable to everyone. So it's not imperative to have, but generally the best practice is to have some sort of discount, build that early following, right? So imagine you're a beauty brand or you're a beverage brand. You want to have maybe a 10% off if you do subscribe and save. Those customers automatically get their next order within a specific time frame. Really nice to build early momentum in sales and just build brand loyalty. So I like this as a B for now, especially, I'm not going to put it higher because it's not applicable to a lot of brands, but it's easy to set up, nice to have, and really good to build brand loyalty. Creator Connections. This is sort of a relatively new program. And Creator Connections is a program that Amazon launched where they allow brands to connect with creators and essentially give their product away for free if they want, or offer a commission to creators. Think TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, a commission for driving sales for their product. From my experience, even for new brands, mature brands, it's really difficult to scale because oftentimes you want to provide the product for free so they can create content and videos, UGC content around it. That creates operational challenges. Who's managing that? How do you keep track of what to send it to? What's the discount you need to provide? And then the scale, right? And so it's not necessarily a must-have during launch. It's a nice to have. I think this is gonna be B or C. I don't know. Let's put it in B, C for now, because it's just not something I commonly see and not something I've seen work really well at scale. Brand registry. Brand registry is something that you need access to in order to do a lot of things on Amazon. In order to have sponsored brands video, in order to have a storefront, you need to be brand registered. And that means protecting your trademark, submitting your trademark to Amazon to let them know that you are the brand owner of whatever product you're selling. This has got to be S or A. I wouldn't call it a non-negotiable because there's a lot of successful brands that sell on Amazon that are not necessarily brand registered. They just have an awesome product, right? And it's their singular product, and that's really all that they have. And so I can come back to this. I might put this in S because it's pretty important to be the brand owner. Reviews, self-explanatory. You need a lot of reviews. You need reviews. This has a dramatic impact on your advertising performance, on your conversion rates, on the amount of people that would click on your image or your product when they're searching for you. Figure out ways you can get reviews that are terms of service compliant, that follow the rules, whether it's Vine or whatever you need to do. Figure out how to get more reviews. Secondary images. Yes, look, it's important to have as many images as possible, but it's not a non-negotiable to have 7 amazing lifestyle images within the carousel on your product to drive sales. It is very important, I will say. So we're going to put this in A because it's not a non-negotiable to have, again, 7 outstanding images within the carousel. Variations. This, think of if you sell a soap, you have different flavors or scents, I should say. If you have different beverage flavors, if you have different shirt sizes, variations are really useful when it comes to helping with conversion rate. So for example, if someone lands on a t-shirt, maybe I want a specific color and you don't have that color. So adding more variations helps with your overall conversion rate. When they land on your page, you have to get them to buy. How do you get them to buy? Make sure you're offering the choice that they want. And so that is really important, but I would say difficult for new brands to implement because it's just a lot of inventory, large MOQ sizes. I'm going to put this in A for now, maybe goes to B. Brand storefront, I'm going to put this in A. It is not something it's really hard to find your brand storefront for a non-sophisticated Amazon shopper. It's that little line below your title. It's really nice to have though, especially again with a lot of competition in the space. People want to know what your brand is about, right? And if you have a nice storefront, people can understand your product suite, your selection, a little bit more maybe about the founder and what you do. So I'm going to put this in A. It's not a non-negotiable to have at launch, but it's a really good and nice thing to have. Sponsored display. This is really B or C is what I'm thinking. Probably B. It's not a common thing to invest heavily in at the launch just because the different types of targeting you could do with sponsored display. You could do retargeting, so anyone that's viewed your page but hasn't bought, and you could go into audience targeting, so think of people that are in market or shopping for specific things within your category. It's a little bit more upper funnel than sponsored products and sponsored brands. That's why if I have sponsored brands video here, I think I might have to put this in C. We're going to put it in C for now because sponsored brands video is much more important than sponsored display. Price, this is a little vague. I don't know where this came from, but price, obviously really important to have. You can't be 50% higher than the next closest competitor and not offer that much more value. So price, non-negotiable to get that right. Yeah, this one's a little vague. So I think I'm going to put this in S for now. Inventory is really, really important. Obviously, you need inventory to sell. So I don't know if putting in S tier is important. I think the main question is, if you run out of inventory, right? Maybe you have a small MOQ or you only sent 100 units in, and then you run out of inventory. What happens, right? You definitely lose juice in your ranking. You lose that momentum. That's definitely real. Can you bounce back from it? Yes, you can. A lot of people create doomsday scenarios of you running out of inventory. Yes, you do lose out on sales, but your brand is not dead if you run out of inventory for 30 days or 20 days. So I'm going to put this in S. It is super important still, but not non-negotiable. You can never run out of inventory. Sponsored brands. These are the ad placements at the top of the fold. They have other rest of search placements. It's the carousel typically. They're on product detail pages. You can't have this unless you're brand registered. So it generally doesn't perform as well as sponsored products. Sponsored brands video performs better than sponsored brands. It's a nice to have at launch. I'm going to put this in B just because it's not typically your best performing ad product and it's not going to drive a lot of sales like sponsored products. So we're going to put this in B. A+ content. We're going to put this in A for now, and I'm going to tell you why. We're going to come back to this. You need brand registry to be to have A+ content, but it's one of the few things you have access to in order to drive sales or drive conversion rate on your page. So yeah, I'm going to put this here. FBM. Instead of doing FBA, a lot of people use FBM. Maybe you have a 3PL. You want to, it's cheaper for you for some reason, but generally has longer delivery windows. So it's a little bit harder to manage from an advertising efficiency standpoint. Think about driving clicks to a listing that's FBM fulfilled by merchant, but the delivery window says 2 weeks from now instead of Prime, which is 2 days or same day sometimes. So it's not really important to have at launch, not really necessary. It's never recommended. Always do FBA if you can, if you're serious about building a long-term Amazon business. So we're going to put this in C for now, maybe D. Okay. Wow. Let's see this tier list. Let's first, we're not going to rank them within the tiers. We're just going to go tiers, right? So S tier. Main image, sponsored products, SEO, reviews, price. I think this is pretty good. I mean, you need all of this stuff as a non-negotiable at launch in order to be successful. The thing that I'm thinking about is A+ content and brand registry. You know what? I'm going to put this up here because I think if you're serious about building a brand and product on Amazon, nowadays, if you don't have at least the A+ content you're not really going to be successful. Because think about your page versus the other page that has A plus content. There's just so much more stuff that the customer can view about you and your product. So I think this is a pretty clear S tier now that I'm thinking about it. Brand story module, not imperative. A plus content, probably more important just because there's more stuff you could put in there. Category note, browse note, I'm okay. It's really important, but you can change it. So it's not that big of a deal. Vine, some people like it, some people don't. Brand story module, yeah, this seems about right. Product video, B, sponsor brands video, premium A plus content. I think this is good. In B, again, when you're a little bit more mature, this is definitely necessary, right? But at launch, we're talking about a new brand at launch. What's a non-negotiable? C, sponsored display, Amazon DSP, Amazon. Yep, this all pretty much makes sense. I think I might even move Amazon Business to D because it takes a lot to set up, or it doesn't take a lot, but you have to manage it, right? You know what? Let's keep it in C. It does provide some sales. It's not necessary, but it helps. FBM, yeah, if you want to do this, it's a fallback option. Sure, we'll put this in C. And then D is really just stuff that's not relevant and not worth your time. I wouldn't even think about it. But with that being said, this is a longer video than usual. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this sort of type of video. I actually enjoyed it. It was much more interactive. This is the official tier list for growth levers on Amazon. Let me know if you like this video in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe. Thank you all. I'll be back for more later.